Welcome back to the last half hour here of the Generation Y Conservative Show. Again, my name is Chris. Look us up on social media. Search for the Generation Y Conservative on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. And follow along and subscribe where possible so we can interact with each other. I would appreciate that. Listen, this half hour is actually brought to you by the Doc Thompson Health Challenge. It was created to help his fellow host at the time, Brad Staggs, improve his health. It was created as a challenge that Doc Thompson would be proud of and support. Doc Thompson was a healthy kind of guy. He liked and enjoyed jogging, which was one of the things that unfortunately brought him to his death there. The challenge brings the Mojo 50 community together for a common cause, which is to heal, survive, and thrive. It's a 90-day challenge to make healthier lifestyle choices. Now, the challenge itself started on May 4th of this year, but that should not stop you from participating in this and starting it right now, okay? There's no better time to get healthy than the present. It's hosted by Gwen Rich, who's a health advocate and founder of The Rich Solution. And it focuses on 8 obstacles everyone needs to conquer for their optimal health. That includes diet, mental attitude, exercise, sleep, stress, environmental toxins, community, and emotional health. All very, very important things that go into it. Most of it is mental stuff. Getting over yourself, getting over the stress of everyday life in order to focus on your physical health. Now, you can find this at www.therichsolution.com. That's Rich, R-I-C-H, therichsolution.com. This half hour is also brought to you by Atrantil, okay? All you have to do, listen, go to lovemytummy.com/mojo or /spoonie. Here's the offer. Atrantil is a 90 capsule box. It's normally about $39.95 per box. But when you buy 3 boxes with our coupon code, you get 3 months supply of bloating and digestive relief for only $99, which is a $20 savings on 3 boxes of Atrantil. It's the world's first ever over-the-counter proven solution for bloating. Bloating sucks. It hurts. It's developed by a board-certified gastroenterologist, Ken Brown. It wasn't by that, but it's safe for daily use. It's 100% natural polyphenols designed to address bloating problems where they begin and not just treat a symptom. It's not a probiotic, not an antibiotic. It's a blend of polyphenols that's desired by your body to work as a gut regulator and end methane, and then function as a postbiotic to benefit your overall health. It's also the world's only digestive aid that contains K-Braco, Colorado, okay? For you athletes, that's the world's only bloating remedy that is NSF certified for sport. Why would you take this? Well, if you ever get bloated after eating, if you get abdominal distension and tightness, if you feel tired and heavy after eating a meal, and also if you have unpredictable bathroom habits with constipation or even sporadic diarrhea, which is not fun. Symptoms that look like IBS. These are reasons why you would want to go and try taking this as soon as possible. Go to lovemytummy.com/mojo or lovemytummy.com/spoonie. We're going over some politics earlier today and everything, but we're going to end with some of these politicians that one of my friends posted on my one post the other day in regards to Alexandria Ocasio Cortez. Why are we even giving this woman any attention anymore? And I get it. You know, why do we keep on propping her up as an example of the left and giving her the media attention that she's obviously craving? But it's also the reason why we're doing it. You know, we have to spotlight the type of people that progressives put up as the intelligent ones to represent us in our politics that turn out to be these insufferable how is it that AOC, it boggles my mind, how is it that AOC is a representative in our government when she doesn't, these memes that float around, it drives you crazy that she would be this ignorant and dumb on things. And yet she proves almost daily that it's much worse than that. Just when you think she's done the dumbest thing possible, she goes and does something even dumber the next day. And her policies are so out of whack with American society that she actually believes she can get most of these things and policies paid for by just taxing everyone at like 100%. Even at 100%, most of these Democrats that are front runners right now for the running for president on the Democratic side, or those like AOC or Ilhan Omar and other representatives in Congress, they believe that they can get their policies accomplished. And when you look at the numbers, even taxing people 100% of their income, they still can't achieve it. Sometimes some of their policies would require more money that's available in the world. And is it the fact that these people maybe believe that you could just keep on printing money and that it has no effect, that by printing more money, it adds to the money pile, and that doesn't have a detrimental effect on the valuation of money and the supply and demand of where it actually ties into world economics and how much the dollar actually becomes worth, and that services and products actually then become more expensive as the value of the dollar decreases? I think that sounds a little too complicated for AOC, if you ask me. But again, she's been suffering from social media gaffes left and right. She was actually she was criticized for a photo of a supposed, quote, GOP politician who was actually a Democrat, one of her own, right? So it says one of Representative Alexandria Ocasio Cortez's tweets seemed to backfire on Thursday when she tried attacking Republicans over a picture of a politician who stood next to a cardboard cutout of her, AOC. She said in the tweet, GOP, let's pose our older male members next to cardboard cutouts of young female legislators, she tweeted. Her tweet included a post from the Republican Party of Kentucky. However, the politician picture was Democratic Representative John Yarmouth of Kentucky, not a Republican as she claimed. Ocasio-Cortez later deleted the tweet, but not before critics pointed out the gaffe on Twitter. So, Ryan Saavedra, Socialist Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez thinks Representative John Yarmouth is a Republican member of Congress. It literally says in the tweet that she is quoting that Yarmouth is a Democrat. AOC doesn't even know who her Democrat colleagues are in Congress. How embarrassing. Another one here says, and they call you crazy? Caleb Hull. In this tweet, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez shows she has no idea who John Yarmouth even is. He's a Kentucky Democrat who just happens to be the chair of the House Budget Committee. Major yikes. First grade readers are, in fact, the worst. This is in response to one of her other tweets. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez said, I swear, it's like we're back to encouraging first grade readers when it comes to some of these pundits. But she is the one that falls under attack here. Now, while we stay with Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, she's also right now advocating to give prisoners back their voting rights. Okay? It says on Thursday she voiced her support for giving incarcerated felons voting rights while warning opponents they risked looking completely and utterly out of touch with reality of our prison system. She also said to avoid looking completely and utterly out of touch with the reality of our prison system, instead of asking, should the Boston bomber have the right to vote, try, should a nonviolent person stopped with a dime bag lose the right to vote? Because that question reflects way more people. Okay, but just like the border situation, even though not every Mexican that crosses the border is a criminal, some of them are. So there needs to be processes put into place on who gets into the border. Now, in regards to who votes from prison, when you enter that cell, you have forfeited your rights as a citizen to participate in society because you did something that was illegal, knowingly doing something that was illegal, okay? These people don't go to prison just because they happen to get caught up in something that they didn't understand. Most of these hardened criminals in prison versus jail have gone there for crimes that they have forfeited their rights to participate in society as far as we're concerned. That's why we throw them behind bars. Senator Bernie Sanders sparked a national discussion about voting rights for felons in jail during a CNN town hall last week as well. The 2020 presidential candidate said that all prisoners, including domestic terrorists such as the Boston bomber, should retain the right to vote. He said, "I think the right to vote is inherent to our democracy." Well, right off the bat, he's wrong. It's a republic, a democratic republic. Yes, even for terrible people, because once you start chipping away, you're running down a slippery slope. I do believe that even if they are in jail, they're paying their price to society, but that should not take away their inherent American right to participate in our democracy, which just goes to show you that the Democrats want even the guilty criminals to vote for them as well. Although Sanders previously called for felon voting rights, the comments on Monday drew national attention and backlash. Some candidates, including former Representative Beto O'Rourke of Texas and former Housing and Urban Development Secretary Julian Castro, have said only nonviolent offenders should be able to vote while in prison. Wow. But then again, when it comes to Representative Beto O'Rourke, we never really know what his position is because there's nothing on his website stating what he actually stands for, and he has literally said that he will be whatever the voters want him to be. So who knows what he says. Ocasio Cortez did not immediately respond to a request for clarification on whether she was backing voting rights for all felons or just nonviolent ones, but her language clearly says here, should the Boston, instead of asking, should the Boston bomber have the right to vote, try, should a nonviolent person stopped with a dime bag lose the right to vote? Because that question reflects way more people. So in essence there, what she's saying is all felons should have the right to vote, but the majority of the ones that should have the right to vote are ones that have done something nonviolent. But it doesn't ever disclude someone like the Boston bomber. Now, you would think that that those on the left would actually be supporting Alexandria Ocasio Cortez and Bernie Sanders in this. I have to take a deep breath here because this is kind of shocking. One of the people that actually came out against Bernie Sanders and the right for felons to be able to vote. Listen to this. Left-winger Cher flips out at Democrat frontrunner Bernie Sanders for saying felons should be able to vote from jail. All right, here we go. Says here, actress and singer Cher has no problem speaking her mind, and by all accounts, she's no fan of President Trump or conservatives in general. But lately, Cher has been tweeting some very un-Cher-like things. For instance, she put, "Will Trump really do what he just said he would? Will he flood my state with thousands of rapists and murderers? His words as a punishment? What kind of president is he? What kind of man is he? He's the newest dictator, and he wants his troops to put up internment camps." So this is specifically in regards to sanctuary cities and states. You know, that basic language right there is welcoming to illegal immigrants. And what he said is, okay, all the ones that we catch, we'll throw into your state. And if we catch them, we'll keep on throwing them back in. But that started pissing off people because they obviously don't want them in their state. They know what comes with it. She followed that tweet up with, "I understand helping struggling immigrants, but my city, Los Angeles, isn't taking care of its own. What about the 50,000 plus citizens who live on the streets, people who live below poverty line and hungry? If my state can't take care of its own, many are vets. How can it take care of more?" Welcome to the damn conversation. Where have you been, right? All these people that argue against us, that is the point. That is the point I've been making over and over again. Where is Nancy Pelosi and Maxine Waters for our American vets and the homeless population here in the United States of actual citizens and taking care of those people before we start taking care of people that don't even belong here, that haven't gone through the process, that have jumped the line and done something illegal as soon as they enter the country? The question isn't, are these illegal immigrants criminals? The answer to that question is yes. It's a matter of to what degree, and do they have criminal past? Because the action of entering the country illegally is a crime in and of itself, making those people criminals. Now, if you're a child in tow that's being brought over without the ability to make that decision for yourself, that's a little bit different of a story. But every adult that passes that border without going through the legal process is a criminal. There's no other way around it. You have entered illegally, you are a criminal. We're off topic, I'm sorry. Anyway, this is her tweet to Bernie Sanders. It says, does Bernie Sanders really believe people in prison who are murderers, rapists, child molesters, Boston bombers still deserve the right to vote? Yeah, he does. And even Cher is flipping out on that. It's almost like portions of society are starting to wake up a little bit, even on the left. You'd be shocked at how many people I actually talk to that are my clients, hundreds of clients that I've had in this one area here in Pennsylvania that are lifelong Democrats that voted for Trump because they wanted change. They believe that he's an honest politician. As far as honesty is concerned, he says what's on his mind and just says it, right? Which is, I think, what a lot of people are looking for. There's even one country right now, and you can correct me on where exactly it is, but there was a guy, an actor, who played the president on a TV show in the country who ran against the actual president for a re-election and won with a 75% to 24% vote margin. This actor got in, right? Which just goes to show you politics around the world are just driving people crazy, especially with the lies and corruption and everything. And people are starving for changes because the world's a screwed up place. And if you don't have hardened people out there trying to push the best option instead of catering to the corrupt, then we keep on ending up in horrible positions, which is why they want to get those people out of there. How about this? Elizabeth Warren, my word, this woman is, sending up smoke signals, pun intended, like no other about the insanity that she represents on the left. This is according to the New York Times. Elizabeth Warren's higher education plan: cancel student debt and eliminate tuition. Senator Elizabeth Warren of Massachusetts who has structured her presidential campaign around a steady unveiling of disruptive policy ideas, on Monday proposed her biggest one yet: a $1.25 trillion plan to reshape higher education by canceling most student loan debt and eliminating tuition at every public college. Her sweeping plan has several planks. She would pay for it with revenue generated by her proposed, guess, increase in taxes for America's most wealthiest families and corporations. Why is it the solution to every problem for a Democrat is to raise taxes and throw money at it, when money obviously hasn't solved everything? But I think it's the greed of money in their power, exactly what they're going for, what we talked about earlier. In addition to eliminating undergraduate tuition at public colleges and universities, she would expand federal grants to help students with non-tuition expenses and create a $50 billion fund to support historically black colleges and universities. Equality, obviously. And I believe there's $50 billion in there for Asian Americans and $50 billion in there for Native Americans and $50 billion in there for, what's that last one? The other one. Oh, Hispanic Americans and, gosh, it feels like I'm missing something. Black, Hispanic, Asian, Native American. I feel like there's one more in there to go through with this. But as long as we get those main ones, equality reigns in the end, right? She would also eliminate up to $50,000 in student loan debt for every person with a household income of less than $100,000. Borrowers who make between $100,000 and $250,000 would have a portion of their debt forgiven. This touches people's lives, Miss Warren said in an interview. It's interesting that they put Miss Warren. She is married. She introduced her husband in that beer video in her kitchen. This is a chance to talk about what's broken and how we fix it. This is the American dream. Yeah, but Representative Dan Crenshaw, future president of the United States, if we have anything to do about it, had something to say about that. Elizabeth Warren also kind of tweeted out about that. She said in a tweet, student loan debt is crushing millions of families. That's why I'm calling for something truly transformational. Universal free college and the cancellation of debt for more than 95% of Americans with student loan debt. Read all about it here, and she gave a link. Representative Dan Crenshaw had a little bit of information for her. He said loan forgiveness for people making up to $250,000. This plan effectively asks all Americans, many of whom never got a degree, to give their tax dollars to people who chose to take out a student loan so that they could get a job paying $250,000 a year. Terribly clumsy and unfair policy. Well, yes, absolutely it is. Which leads us to my conservative reflection for the day. Let's talk about higher education today, okay? And what's going on with the Democratic platform of free colleges and what's been happening over the past decade or so with people that step up like Mike Rowe to testify in front of Congress on the importance of college. You know, Mike Rowe has gone in front of Congress to talk about the importance of pushing trade schools beyond white-collar opportunities within college and university settings that people are typically pushed into in their high school settings. Now, if you jump back to high school, what you have is college prepping and kind of funneling students towards a college lifestyle in order to get a white-collar job. But what is left out is the trades in trade schools like plumbing and mechanical work and things of that nature. And now what we've seen over the last couple decades is a lesser and lesser amount of people entering the trades for those things like plumbing and everything. And there's a shortage of them, okay? And when there's a shortage of those and people are begging for those people to bring up on the trades, what you actually have is a stark contrast with what's happening in the white-collar world. An abundance of doctors and nurses, an abundance of other people that just can't find jobs because there's none available. But there's a bunch of jobs available in the trade industry. When you have a shortage and a shortage of resources, in this case being people, and a high demand for those trades, what you have is this balance in which the trade is able to negotiate their prices better than you would in any other industry right now. So plumbers can make more than doctors can in a lot of cases, because if there's a shortage and they're the only ones available, they get to set their own prices. But we don't have anyone in the high school settings really pushing for people to go to the vo-tech schools or the trade universities after their high school experience and everything. But what we have here is actually talks by the Democratic left right now to push students into college settings for free, so the colleges wouldn't, well, I guess they would still be making money, but it would all be on the back of the taxpayers, pushing high schoolers into college settings, whether they want to or not, and making it free. At which point, think about it this way. People that go to college don't even necessarily know what they want to go for, right? But if you go to college and you can't grasp what's going on and what you want to do with your life, and you keep on failing classes and continue to being a student, right? Then every generation that starts up coming behind you to get into college, you're taking up a seat for them, okay? Universities can only handle so many until we get to a point where, you know, it's all digitized, which I think is the future of where the bubble's going to be. Is this going to be an educational bubble? We pour so much money as universities and college settings into the campuses themselves and the dormitory life and the student activity life and everything. There's so much money that goes into the stadiums and the upkeep of the college campuses and everything to keep students coming and going to the university, that the tuition prices keep on going up. They're astronomical now to get a degree. And the colleges are making bank on all these things. But in the meantime, the population can't keep up with the type of cost that's associated with that. So just like you would if you were grocery shopping and you didn't have the budget to go to your average grocery chain, you might go to a place like Aldi's to shop for your food at a lesser price for brands that are typically made by the same name brands, but under a different name at a lower price, right? The same thing happens with colleges. You're looking to get a degree, and maybe your family's in a hard place and you can't afford the tuition or anything, or you're paying for it yourself and you can't afford it. You're going to look for alternatives. And one of those alternatives coming up right now is digital universities, the online universities and everything, which are going to save you a boatload of money. Not only do you get your education at home, you do it on your own time, you're able to work during it, you're able to stay at home and not pay the expenses of dormitory life and paying for food on campus and student activities, going out and partying. I mean, it really diminishes all that stuff, and you can get your education at home and then get right into the workforce. Heck, you could even be in the workforce and go to college while doing that type of stuff. So the next bubble to collapse is really going to be the educational bubble. Once we reach this point where college campuses are oversaturated with people and the tuition is too high that people can't afford it, and then those numbers start dwindling off as far as who's actually attending on campus versus those going to the online universities. But in the meantime, we have Democratic politicians shooting for free colleges, increasing all of our taxes, and providing college to people that don't even want to go to college, and forgiving student loan debt. Who's going to take the brunt of that responsibility then that falls on the university to get that money that they were owed, right? Again, it's probably going to be a debt forgiveness program that is based off of an increase in taxes to all of us to pay off the obligations that people signed up for themselves willingly prior to us getting involved. So now you're talking about people that signed a contract with the university saying, I will pay these expenses, and then passing that buck on to the taxpayers who didn't have anything to do with that contract and saying, oh, yeah, we're really sorry. Now, instead of that, we're going to put this on the back of you guys to actually pay for their tuition that they signed saying that they would pay. The Democratic platform is absolutely asinine in what they are asking for and what they think that they can accomplish with the American dollar by putting the strain on the American voter. And the only solution that the Democrats ever have to problems is by going and increasing your taxes. There is no creative way. There's no creative thinking, because there's no thinking at all on the part of the left to come up with solutions to these problems. And they refuse to sit down with Republicans on the other side of the aisle and try to come up with an amicable way to attack these problems in our country by joining forces together and doing what's right, by doing what is best. So I appreciate you guys tuning in today to the Generation Y Conservative Show. I'll catch you next week on Sundays starting at 5 until 7 p.m. In the meantime, have a great night, and God bless America.